folks, Post here, welcome back to another Poem Master video, and tonight, Wallace should be dropping in the game, right, at reset time, so whenever reset time is at your place, this guy's banner should be out. So, yeah, as usual, let's go over, the units, and see if it's really worth, summoning on, or not, right? So, Wallace is an interesting unit, right, and I do like how the game is going in direction in terms of like units. The game's not just pushing out just a bunch of hard hitters or whatever, right? Well, hard hitters, I don't have a problem with them, but hard hitters aren't like a big deal anymore as they were before. Really, if you say it was 3 months ago, obviously the whole game was a DPS meta, but not anymore, right? With Battle Villa coming out, the number one most important like unit archetype, honestly, in my opinion, is just tanks. I think tanks are probably the most important things in the game now. Considering what you're trying to do in Battle Villa, right, and how they function, and yeah, like honestly, just the general importance of these units, right? So. And Wallace is that. Wallace Milotic is a tank. And let's go through that. So water type, weak versus electric. Tech, 5-star, female. So if you look at the stats, you're like, okay, you say it's a tank, but, a lot of HP. 740 HP. But the defenses are, right, 134 defense, that's not a lot. 164 special defense, that's not... I mean, it's okay-ish, but, it's not crazy either. Well, its defensive stats come later. Okay, but anyways, let's just go through, quickly through the stats first. So, as a ton of HP, not too much defense, a decent amount of special defense, I guess. I'll give it that. 300 special attack, which is a lot for a tech unit for some reason. 224 speed, and obviously no attack because it's irrelevant. Who cares, right? Like if you actually look at this special attack stat, if you sort by special attack stat, like this guy like has more special attack than a lot of units in the game, right? So let's see, he's over here. He's like only 6 special attack lower than Glade, which by the way, Glade is a mixed striker, right? 9 lower than Kingdra, and look what he's like higher than. Dude has more special attack than Crobat, Typhlosion, Salazar, Mega Alexam even, right? Dugong, Heliolisk, yeah, Xatu, Mew, the regular, the Charizard, Blastoise, Venusaur, like these starters without, I think this doesn't take account of the affection. I think I have post affection they have more, right? But yeah, as a lot of special attack for some reason, Torkoal. I don't know why, but they just decided to give a tech unit who's a tank 300 special attack. So there's that. Going over its moves, Brine, 38 power, 2 bars, single target, power's doubled if the target's HP is half or below, which is honestly, pretty easy, right? Generally you hit the sides like once or twice with something super, and they should be like down like over like it or under half, and once after you use a sync move against the mid, they're usually around half or under half as well. So Brine, you will double its power actually quite a lot, right? Next move, Whirlpool, leaves target trapped. Same power, also, special water. 2 gauges, 1 target, although the accuracy is 85, right? So that's slightly suspect. Grand Illusion. So this is for all the allies, right? 1 use, reflects status conditions to the opponent's side of the field instead, and makes the user able to endure the next hit it takes. So that's really interesting. We never had a unit that did this before, which is really, really nice, right? Especially if you're, if you got like burned, because and you're running like physical strikers, this is great, right? Obviously burn cuts your physical attack, also does DOT, and also, just in general, poison would be really annoying for a lot of tanks that you don't have a natural cure or something that could cure the burn or slash poison, right? So those are super annoying. Perhaps like basically all these statuses, I guess the ones that aren't like, well, I was just about to say the ones that aren't that big of a deal are sleep and freeze, but that's not really true. It's not that big of a deal for the opponent, but it's kind of a big deal for you, right? You will get screwed if you get, put to sleep or frozen sometimes. So yeah, Grand Illusion is great for a move. And then last one, you got Mirror Coat, 100 power, 3 gauges, 100% accuracy, psychic, and special, right? And they have an essay for the move description. So basically, what it does is, it's like a counter attack thing. Using the move again will cause user to leave this posture. No other actions can be taken while in this posture. User will attack if hit by a special move while in this counter-attacking posture. Then the user leaves this posture. The more damage the user has taken from the opponent's move, the greater the power of this move. So basically, what I read from this is just kind of like Beak Blast, Solar Beam, all that stuff, right? When you press it, it goes into like some kind of posture. If you press it again, and if you immediately press it again without the opponent dealing any damage to you, you should deal a base 100 damage to the opponent. But if you wait until the opponent hits you with a special attack, the power increases, right? So it's not just 100 power, which 100 power is honestly, really good for like, isn't like psychic's like 80 something, right? Oh, by the way, more special attack than Ho as well. Poor Ho. But again, Ho, you need that extra 60% for the sun. I think psychic is 80, or was it 89 or something? 99? Anyways, 99. So like for a 3 gauge move, even if you don't, that it's not bad. But obviously the bad part is, well, it takes an extra turn, right? But if you do get hit by a special attack, this power does increase, so that's great. So overall, if you were just to show me its moveset and its stats, I'll be like, whatever, right? It's not the biggest deal. If you look at the passives, I guess, the sync move is 200 power, but power increases if the target is trapped, which it always will be, because like that's kind of the point of Wallace. You want to trap your opponent. Not the main point, but it's one of the things I could do. As for passive, that stationary target 5, so that's an extra 50% damage boost if the opponent is trapped, which again, for most of the time it will be trapped. Poke Trap 5, increased amount of damage the target takes from being trapped by 50, that's 50%, right? So yeah, that would make whirlpools hurt a lot for some reason. Recuperation 2 restores the user's HP after using a sync move. I think it's 40% heal or something. So after you sync move, you heal up a lot, which is honestly really, really nice, especially in Villa, right? So there would be a reason to use Wallace's sync move over like a lot of the strikers and all that. And again, it's not going to do bad damage, right? The dude has really good special attack. Has extra 50% if the opponent is trapped, and then you increase your power if your opponent is trapped as well here. So the reason why Milotic is that good of a tank is, like, despite its stats, is it's Synchrid, as a Synchrid, right? And especially now that, move candies are a thing, like, Synchrids are much more accessible, right? So there's that as well. So basically, what we got over here in terms of its Synchrid, right? So you have a few things that make it tank really well. So first of all, the most important, if I can find it, there we go. The most important node here is this Sterner Stuff. reduces damage when the user is hit by a physical attack move. So basically, this is a 20% damage reduction against a physical move. That is super, super important. Like, damage reduction, like I mentioned in the initial Wallace video, if you guys didn't see that, damage reduction is just, like, okay, sure, Wallace has, 134 defense. Who cares? Like, damage reduction is just so much more important and more influential when you're tanking in comparison to, like, a good defensive stat. Unless you're like freaking Steelix with like 400 defense. But, in general, it's just so much more important than a good defensive stat or defense boost or whatever, right? Like, damage reduction just, it cuts 20% of your opponent's attack off. Like, just like that, right? So, yeah, this would make his defense, even though the defense is, like, honestly mediocre, right? The stat, it'll make this guy tank physical attacks, like, incredibly well, just because of this, right? Sterner stuff, too. And also, another reason why this dude could, is used as a tank is you got healthy healing. You gradually heal yourself when the HP is full when it enters the battle, right? So, every time you do something, you heal up. Mirror Coat Catalytic Cure. Moderate chance, 50% chance of restoring your HP by like 20% every time you use a move. There's that as well. And remember, you're healing on this. You're healing on Catalytic Cure, right? Was there anything else? Let's see. I think that's... Oh, no. First Aid. Oh, if you guys use Mew in Battleville, you know how good First Aid is, right? First Aid 4 restores a bit of Pokemon's HP once during the battle when the Pokemon is a pinch. Here's what's so good about First Aid 4, if you guys don't know, is that after a battle, like if you use First Aid and you healed up in a battle and then you beat the battle and you're not back in a pinch again, you can use it again next battle. Like, it activates again as a passive, which again, you don't need to use any MP or whatever. It just every single battle you could use it. Like, you just keep on getting HP back. So sometimes in a battle you might end up with more HP than you started with, which is so great about First Aid, right? A huge reason why a lot of people use Mew for a tank. Yeah, and also it does have, for some extra defense, I guess, you do have Shielded Squad for Grand Illusion, which sharply raises the defense of all allied sync pairs when a move is successful. So this is 100%, right? You 100% raise all the defenses on your team by 2 when you use Grand Illusion, which is cool, I guess. Also got Unyielding, which is after you endure the most recent hit with 1 HP remaining, has moderate chance, which is 50% chance of enduring another hit. So there's that as well if you want Unyielding. And as for some offensive stuff, it actually has some really good offensive capability. Because remember, its special attack is really good. It has extra 50% on stationary target, and also you deal 50% more chip damage with your Whirlpool. And as for more offensive boosts, you got Super Duper Effective 2. That's an extra 20% against any enemies that you're super effective against. Which, if you're using Wallace to like do damage, you're mostly doing it against stuff that you're super effective against anyways, right? So I mean, as like a Water Striker, Wallace not good, or not good, not too bad, right? It's good. But also just in terms of a Psychic Striker as well, since the Psychic move, it's pretty decent as well, right? So, yeah, extra 20% there, with Super Duper Effective. Another Poketrap 1, right? So, extra 10% as well was up to 60% more damage from your Whirlpool damage. Indomitable, which small chance of raising the user's special attack if the enemy of the user's stats have been lowered, which is kind of whatever, honestly, for me. Like if you really want to run walls for damage, you run supports with them, right? This is, yeah, kind of relevant, honestly. As for other stuff, grand entry, same thing. I mean, maybe it would not be as bad, but you know, again, like I said, if you're trying to do damage with Wallace, you should have supports. Stationary target 3, so that's an extra 30% there. So you get a total, if you pick that up, you get a total of 80% damage boost on your passive, which is kind of insane. Like, who has an 80% boost on your passive? Like, really? There aren't that many Pokemon out there that has an 80% damage boost on their passive. And again, you got Brine nodes, all that stuff, pretty standard. Look at all these Miracle nodes, though. Like, Miracle has a base 100 power, and then Miracle, you got 40, 50, 60. You get an extra 60. So you could boost it up to 160 on Miracle and get move gauge refresh 3. I mean, look at like a lot of the like 3 gauge moves in the game, right? Like, look at how much they only boost by 3 and 6, 9, 12, and that's, you know, actually a decent amount. That's a 3 gauge move. It gets boosted by 12. Let's see what else. Haxorus, 4, 16. Lucario, let's see. 4, 16, right? These are all 3 gauge moves, right? In terms of how much they get boosted by 4, 20. Reuniclus, 4, 24. Wow, that's actually a lot. Metagross, 5, 20, right? So it's like 20 is like a really high amount for Pokemon's move to get boosted by if it is a 3 gauge move, right? And Milotic, for some reason, just casually gets an extra 60 damage out of its Mirror Coat. I don't know why, but it does. So, yeah. As for Whirlpool, you get an extra accuracy there, which is nice, right? Turns it to 95, which is much more reliable than 85, right? So, and one last thing it has is, which is really good for Villa, is Revenge Boost 4, since basically you're always, well, I wouldn't say always, you know, but like a decent amount of time you will be drawing aggro, right? So you will be getting hit most of the time. So good chances. Is it 50% or 60%? Let me check real quick. Okay, good chance is 50%. Okay, never mind. I think I said one on moderately. I said it was 50%, but it should be 40%. So over here you have every time you get hit, you have a 50% chance to get an extra move gauge, which is really good. Which is really good, right? There's 3 opponents. You know, every turn you get hit. Well, what, 4 times, right? Per, you know, cycle / turn, so it's an extra 4 move gauges. So this guy honestly is phenomenal. I do think this is a very, very good unit, especially in the direction you know, where the game's going. Also, they released it on the day that Ho is coming out, so Ho's probably going to be extremely weak to Milotic. Like, Ho's probably going to be weak to like traps or whatever. And seeing that like the Ho event honestly is shaping up to be a really long event. Hey, I do think Milotic is really good one, right? So, in terms of if you should summon for Milotic or not, I would say it depends. Milotic is definitely a good unit, but I do think it really depends on what you have, right? Because do keep in mind, Cynthia is coming like in like 2 days, right? Which I do think Cynthia is probably the better summon. First of all, Cynthia's banner is a Pokefair banner, which does not give you, which again, this annoys me to no end. A lot of people think Pokefair gives you a better chance at summoning the featured Pokemon. It does not, you know. Even though Wallace is a Spotlight Scout, Wallace's rates are the same rates as Cynthia. They're both 2%. But what Pokefair has over regular Spotlight Scouts is not that you get a better chance at summoning for the featured unit. It's you get a better chance at summoning units that are not the featured unit. You know, you get an extra 3% chance at summoning other 5-stars that are not, you know, Cynthia or Wallace, right, in this case, which is still really good, right? And also Cynthia is a limited unit, so it's not on any other banners. Well, it could be on other banners, but it generally is not on other banners, right? So I would suggest, if you do not have Cynthia, if you do not have at least one copy of, if you do not have one copy of Cynthia, do not summon on this banner. If you have one copy of Cynthia, because we are getting strike candies, on the we are getting strike candies on a Ho's event. I would say Wallace is looking very enticing, right? And also, if you guys are worried about Wallace's banner being bait for something else in the future, don't worry about that. We got like a whole month. Wallace is literally the first banner of like 5 banners, right? Like this whole month. Like we won't get anything else until, you know, other than the Datamined stuff, until like the end of May. So don't worry that much. Obviously, I don't want you to spend like your whole stash on Wallace, right? See if you get a copy or two, right? You do need, I would have to say, you do need 3 copies to make it like, you know, completely viable, because you do have sterner stuff too, which is, in my opinion, the most important node on Wallace's grid. That is locked behind the 3rd dupe. But now that we have move candies, not that we have any tech move candies yet, but you know, in the future when we do get tech move candies, it would be much easier, right? So if you don't think you can get Wallace 3 out of 5 on this banner, then don't summon on the banner. Wait until like in the future, you know, when you get like more tech move candies or whatever, then maybe, you know, spend on the banner, or not spend on the banner, but you know, on other banners, and hope you could get it on other banners, and then like spend tech move candy. So like again, I do think my you know, Wallace is worth, but it just depends on how much. If you're like free to play and you don't have that many gems, if you have like under like, I'd say like 30k or so, then just like go for your like daily summons each day and hope you pull it on that. If you do pull it on daily summons, then that's great. But if you don't, then you know, it's whatever, right? Daily summons only 100 per day. That's not like that big of a deal. But in general, I would say probably not, especially if you do not have Cynthia. Cynthia is going to be an absolute monster, right? After it's sync grid, which I'll go over in another video in terms of sync grid builds and all that stuff, right? So again, Cynthia is coming in a few days. Also, like the 5-star select scout is coming as well, although it doesn't have like that many like great units, right? It goes up until Kukui, which stops right before like the like power creep in a lot of the units, right? Like stuff like Heliusk, Galissapod, Alakazam, Rotom. It doesn't have those. Well, it might have those, but like the banner, if the banner images are anything to go off of, it probably won't have it. But anyways, yeah, that's basically it for Wallace and Milotic, right? Like I said, I think it's a good unit. If you do not have Garchomp, do not summon on it. Go for Garchomp instead. Garchomp has a better banner and also is limited, right? But if you do have Garchomp, if you do have like, you know, I would say 2 copies of Garchomp, then sure, go for Milotic, right? If you got gems to spend, go summon on Milotic. If you do not have gems to spend, if you do not have that much, if you have like under 30k or something, then probably not, right? Because again, like I said, you do need 3 out of 5 to function, which again is not that big of a deal, because you know, we like I said, we are getting move candies, and it seems like move candies are going to be free to play to farm, but we just don't know when we're gonna get any 5-star tech move candies. So anyways, that's it for this one. Hope you guys enjoyed it. I will be summoning live for Wallace as soon as Rep banner drops. Personally, Wallace is my favorite you know, champion, right? One of my favorite characters. I love Wallace. I know he's probably one of the most unpopular champions, but I don't care. I love Wallace. So there's that. I really don't care if you guys like him or not. I like him. So yeah. Also, since I somehow forgot to mention in this video, if Wallace is like your favorite character, Milotic is your favorite Pokemon, then go for it. Who cares, right? So anyways, that's the way for this one. Hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Like if you enjoyed this video, share our channel for some more Pokemon content, and I'll see you guys later tonight at the Wallace Summon then.